Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be showing you how to draft this particular basic bodice. This bodice is very useful when making bustiers and all types of corset. So if this is what you like to learn, please keep on watching. So to start off, I divided my pattern into two for the front and the back, and here I'm labeling my shoulder line, my center front, and my center back. The center front is the side facing me, while the center back is the other side. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to draft out the front and the back pattern at the same time. The measurement I'll be using for this tutorial are my shoulder measurement, my bust circumference, my waist circumference, my bust point, my front length, also known as your half length, then your back length, also my shoulder to hip. I started off by marking half of my shoulder measurement on my shoulder line for the front and the back. After that, I'll be going down by 1.5 inch as my shoulder slope for the front, 1.5, while for the back I'll be coming down by 1 inch. Then further, I went ahead to mark out my neck width for the front 3 inches and neck depth of 3 inches, while for the back, neck width of 3 inches and neck depth of 1 inch. And I'll be using my curve rule to curve out my neck line for the front and for the back. After which I'll use my ruler to draw out my shoulder line from the shoulder slope to meet my neckline. So from there I came down by 7.5 inch. This is my armhole depth for the back. So I'll repeat the same thing for the front, but for this front I'll use the same 7.5. So to make sure that they are equal, I just measured from my shoulder line to meet the same measurement I used for the back. So I'll be using pencil to mark out this because I'll be changing. I will not want to use my marker here. I will be cleaning up this line later. So after doing this, I've gotten my chest line. So I'll be connecting it. I'll be drawing a straight line to connect to draw out my chest line like so. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to get the midpoint of this my armhole for the back. Then at that point, I went in by half an inch. I'll be connecting this point to meet the shoulder tip like so. Then for the front, because I came down by 1.5, I'll just come up by 3 inch from the chest line and go in by half an inch and connect it to meet the shoulder. So the next thing I'll be doing is to mark out my bust measurement divided by 4. For the back, I added extra 0.25 inch allowance, while for the front I just marked out my bust measurement divided by 4. Then I'll be connecting it using my curve rule to create my armhole curve. So the next thing I'll be doing here is to mark out my bust point for the front. My bust point, I'll mark out my bust point to get my bust line. Then I'll come down to mark out my front line, also known as your half length. My half length is 17 inches for the front. I'll roll it out like this. Then for the back, I'll mark out my back half length or back length. My back length is 15 inches. So I'll mark it out like this. So the difference between my back length and my front length is 2 inches. So the next thing I'll be doing is to mark out my dart. I'm using 4 inches for my dart. So I'll mark 4 inches on both my waistline and my bust point. And I'll connect it like this. For the back, I'll mark out 4 inches on the waistline like so. Then I'll come down by 1 inch at the chest line. Then I'll connect it to get my dart leg for the back. So the next thing is to my dart intake for both the front and the back is 0.75 on both sides. That is, I'm taking out 1.5 inch in total on each side. So I'll mark out my 0.75 on both sides of the dart, then connect it to meet the bust point. I'll repeat the same thing for the back pattern, 0.75 on both sides, then connect it upwards. Then the next thing I'll do is to get my waist measurement divided by 4. My waist measurement divided by 4, I'll be marking it on my waistline for the front. Then I'll be adding the dart intake of 1.5. I'll use my pencil to connect this. This is because I'll be adding my side dart, and there will be some alteration. Then for the back, I went in by 1/2 inch from the center back, that's on the waistline. This is to eliminate excess bulge when you're done sewing, excess zip bulge. So it's from that point now. So you understand why I put 0.25 when I was measuring my bust measurement. So from that point, I'll come in by my waist divided by 4 plus the dart intake of 1.5. Then I'll connect it to meet the chest line, like so. Then to construct our side dart, I will be marking 2 inches. This 2 inches is the difference between my front half length and my back half length. So we are going to be taking it out so that the both pattern will align. So I'll be marking that from my bust point downward, then I'll connect it to meet my bust point, like so. Then after that, I'll get the midpoint of this dart that I just did now, which will be 1. Since it's 2 inches, so the midpoint is 1. Then at that point, you go out by 1/2 inch. Then you connect this to meet the chest line and also to meet the waistline. But for the waistline, I'll be using a curve rule instead of the straight ruler. This is to avoid adding excess allowance to the other side of the pattern. So I use my curve rule, then straighten it up. So at this point, this is your half block, let me call it half block pattern is ready. This can be used for your peplum, for your dresses that have half cut. To extend the bodice to my hip line, I'll be marking out my waist to hip measurement, which is 9 inches for both the front and the back. So I'll mark it out and I'll roll my line. I'll repeat the same thing for the back, 9 inches from my waist to hip line. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to mark out my hip measurement divided by 4. So I'll mark out hip measurement divided by 4, then I'll be connecting it to meet my waist line, like so. So for the back, I'll extend that zip bulge, this thing that I did. I'll come up by 2 inches upwards, then connect it to meet my waist line. Then I'll mark out my hip divided by 4, also connect it to meet the waistline, also like this. So the next thing now is to extend our dart downward. For this dart, I'll be going up by 2 inches. I don't want it to get to the exact hip line. I'll be going up by 2 inches from the hip line upward, then construct my dart leg to meet the dart on the waistline, then connect it. The same thing for the back, come up by 2 inches and connect the dart leg to meet the waistline and construct my dart. So this is basically it for this pattern. Like I said, this pattern is very useful when you're doing your bustier. You can use this pattern to construct all kinds of corsets. You can use it to even do your princess darts, if you they're just for you to manipulate it. And if you're using it like this, all you need to do is just to cut out the side dart and the center dart. So and also you can split the shoulder into two like this, connect it to the bust point and work your way around it. So this is the end of this video. I hope we enjoy it and I hope it's clear enough. Thank you very much and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.